What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Got a guy on today, Rayshawn Long. You guys have probably seen the other interview we did, the story that we did, a little documentary. We're going to talk a little bit today about Kansas City, about Fat Tone, and what it was like for Rayshawn to be growing up in Kansas. So listen, brother, let me ask you this, right? What was it like? I mean, Kansas City, one of the most dangerous cities in the country, if not the most dangerous. What was it like for you growing up in that city?
First off, saying no disrespect to my Kansas guys, my Cape Town guys, but I'm from Missouri. A lot of people get it misconstrued. Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, a little bit twisted. It's kind of like St. Louis and East St. Louis. One is on the Illinois state line, and the other is on the Missouri state line. So I'm on the Missouri state line, and the Kansas City, Kansas is on the Kansas side of the state line. But growing up in Kansas City, man, we call it Fat Tone gave it the name Killer City or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty hard and intense environment because, you know what I'm saying, the culture was really money and murder. You know what I'm saying? Since I was young, ever since I can remember, you know what I'm saying, money and murder was the culture. So, and growing up in any type of environment like that, you know what I'm saying, just like every other ghetto around America, it was pretty dangerous. But in particular, my area in which I grew up in was probably one of the most, if not the most dangerous or most wretchedness place to be raised or grow up in Kansas City, Missouri, 51st Street or whatnot, in which, you know what I'm saying, the FOG 5-1 Gangster Crip gang was formulated by my older homie, me and Fat Tones, them older homies or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That was legendary guys in the street like Joe Fizz, Rob Fizz, Chuck Little John, Big Dang, you know what I'm saying, Trig, all these older gangsters or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And then the Crippin' part came from my cousin who was a Palmer Block Crip from Compton, who moved down here in the mid 80s and brought Crippin' to Kansas City. And from once that was brought to Kansas City or to the neighborhood, then the FOG became FOGC because the Crip title was put on the back of the 5-1 Gangster label or whatnot. And from there, you know what I'm saying, you had Nutty Block Crips who he brought down, which was their allies out in Compton at that time. He brought them down and they was supplying, you know what I'm saying, and pushing PCP, which was what my neighborhood was known for. They came down and stuff. And so we fell up under the banner of the Nutty Block Crips, you know what I'm saying, New York Yankee hats or whatnot, repping a gang, you know what I'm saying, the Compton gang, 165th Street, 166th Street out there in Compton or whatnot. We started falling up under that bandana and that flag or whatnot. And anybody that knows anything about them, they had a real like knack for violence. Their mentality was real like violent or whatnot. Their numbers probably wasn't as thick as the rest of them out there in Compton, but their numbers, you know what I'm saying, didn't matter because their mentalities mattered, you know what I'm saying? Their mentalities, they were real, you know what I'm saying, they were real go-hearted individuals. And so when they had gave us this game or whatnot when we were young, you know what I'm saying, this is where we adopted the Nutty Block mentality. This is where the Nutty Block mentality derived from, you know what I'm saying? You have two parts or whatnot. 51st Street, you have one side, which Fat Tone ended up was from with me or whatnot. He divided that side with the other side, and that's how war broke out between him and some of the homies or whatnot later on in later years or whatnot. But our side had a Nutty Block mentality, had a more go-kart mentality, when the other side was more reserved, more, you know what I'm saying, player, relaxed, you know what I'm saying, hustlers or whatnot, you know what I'm saying.
So Rayshawn, I mean, we done an interview before, and I know we spoke about, they alleged that you had killed 23 people. Not saying that's true, and we spoke about that. They say you were a gangster in the street, homie. They say you were a dangerous dude. You were feared, a guy that people didn't want to play games with, right? Do you think growing up in that neighborhood created the person that you had allegedly became? And I'll use the word allegedly.
Yeah, most definitely it did. Most definitely, like I said, in order for me to survive or whatnot in that environment, I had to be something. I had to be a gangster. I had to be what I thought was what was being a man. I had to be that gangster. I had to have that Mamba mentality, that kill hearted mentality or whatnot, because if I didn't, then I would have been ate in the streets a long time ago, because this is a place where people are backdooring people, you know what I'm saying? You might go on a trip with your older homies to go hit a lick or whatnot, and you might not come back. You see what I'm saying? The older homies might hit a lick with each other and they might not come back. So at the end of the day, I had to adapt to my environment or whatnot, the elements of my environment or whatnot, and the riders in my environment or whatever. So outside of what my grandma instilled in me at home, you know what I'm saying, the values and stuff that my grandma and mother and them instilled in me in the household or whatnot, I had to, when I came out the house, I had to, you know what I'm saying, leave that inside of the house for the simple fact that, I mean, it was kill or be killed out there, you know what I'm saying, in that community or whatnot, or in that neighborhood. It was like my man said, the game ain't about, you know what I'm saying, sympathy, man. This game ain't about no sympathy, man. So at the end of the day, either I was gonna be food, or I was gonna be one, you know what I'm saying, to eat my food or whatever. And I'm not saying that I would just go out the house and just be prey on everything or anything, but I protected me and mine. You know what I'm saying? I stayed firm and stayed on my grounds to protect me and mine and make sure that I went home at night or whatnot. So it was kind of like a self-defense thing. It was a mechanism that I had to use to survive.
It was a it was a dog eat dog world kind of. I seen a kid, another YouTuber, Tommy G. I think he went into Kansas City. I mean, you got these kids out here with Uzis and switches and talking about they're going to do this to their ops, and it's still a dangerous, dangerous city, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, as times change, I mean, things just really, you know what I'm saying, intensify. Because now, like you said, they got switches and stuff, and the stuff that I see, they got these RoboCop guns that you be wondering, like, how the hell these young black poor kids or whatnot from the ghetto get guns like this. Like these guns are the guns you see in movies. These are guns that you would think, you see what I'm saying, will be given to the United States military, and for them to come so plentiful or whatnot, you'd be like, well, what's really going on? But yeah, they definitely got guns on top of guns, and that's what they glorify. They glorify themselves, you know what I'm saying, with they glorify those guns, they glorify themselves with those guns and stuff. So at the end of the day, it's definitely, and so that means the amount of people that they kill or whatever, it's like they can pull up on the corner and just hit pull the trigger one time and kill three, four, five people. You see what I'm saying, in a group. I mean, so yeah, it's definitely dangerous. It's definitely more dangerous than it was then.
Fat Tone. I want to talk a little bit about Fat Tone. You know, he rapped about you, didn't he?
Yeah, 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 yeah. He rapped about me a lot, but his the most famed one, the most famed verse or whatnot, or lyric that he had put out there that people remember most in regards to me is when I think it was on a song called "I'ma Get You," when he a rap. He said, "I'm a G like 2050s. I bang out through the 50s with Rabbit the Runner and Young Munch the Gunner or whatnot." And as y'all know, you know, Munch the Gunner, that was a moniker that he gave to me back when we were younger or whatnot, because of my knack to, you see what I'm saying, carry guns and not be afraid to use them or whatnot.
And I know that, you know, there was that beef or whatever. He goes, you know, another rapper ends up dead. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
The
Fat Tone,
infamous
Fat Tone's no longer here, right? He passed away, right?
Right, right. He's no longer here. God bless his soul, man. But yeah, the rap beef, the infamous and most notable rap beef between the Bay, allegedly rap beef between the Bay and Kansas City, which started from Mac Dre, you know what I'm saying? Rest in peace, Mac Dre, too, because Mac Dre had a lot of influence on Kansas City, and Mac Dre had been coming up there for many years or whatnot. And that was like a second home to him or whatnot. But Mac Dre had ended up getting killed due to some shady promotional deal, whatnot. He was supposed to perform or something. I remember hearing, and I guess his management didn't enlighten him of the money exchange or something that was given to him to pay money paid up front. So he didn't want to do the show because he didn't know nothing about the money being paid up front, and one thing led to another, and I guess he got into it with the promoter or something like that, and somebody that was in the crowd that was offended when I guess he said he wasn't doing the show, and there was some exchange before he left and refused to do the show on stage, where, to my understanding, he had kind of like downgraded Kansas City, you know what I'm saying, people, and called them like country or something like that, or disrespected them. Get off the stage if you ain't with my crew, and I ain't doing no show with you niggas. You niggas all on the stage. I ain't got nigga something like that to the point where they say the individuals was mad and upset because they felt like, man, you come into our house and you disrespect us like that. So somebody who felt like he didn't respect the city, or they didn't get their money's worth or whatever, they took it to another extreme, and they followed him, or they hawked him down, and they pulled up on 71 highway, and they flipped his van or whatnot, and he ended up getting killed in the process, you know what I'm saying? And from there, Fat Tone ended up getting a rap because, like I say before, you know what I'm saying, people will put your name under the bus when they don't like you or they want to get you out the way, whether they enemies or whether it just be a hater or whatnot. And somehow Fat Tone's name got thrown under the bus as far as the person that had did it or whatever, because I guess him and Mac Dre had previously had some words allegedly or something. So he gets the beef for it. And then they go around and say, oh, well, Mac Dre made a song. Fat Tone made a song talking about there's no more Thiz dance because I killed the Thiz man or whatnot, which I've never heard the song. Nobody else has never heard the song. It just was rumor, speculation. But that ended up being, I guess, the factor that ended up getting Fat Tone killed out there in Vegas.
So they allege that, someone lured him down there and told him they were going to get him a meeting with 50 Cent and make sure the music career takes off. And he ends up in Vegas, right? And he gets killed, right?
Yeah. They got him down there, him and his mans and whatnot. I was in the state penitentiary at this time. They got him down there, him and his mans, and they tricked him off or whatnot, which I can't see him, you know what I'm saying, knowing how we grew up and knowing how he always was so cautious and to really smell out a rat or whatnot. I can't see him falling for that. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, sometimes we all make mistakes and sometimes we all slip. And, you know what I'm saying, he ended up paying dearly with his life.
Let me ask you this. What type of dude was he, man, when you were around him? Was he a gangster in the street?
Most definitely. He was everything that he rapped about. Coming up in that area, like I said, dealing with those elements and those riders or whatnot, you had to adapt. So, he definitely was what he rapped about, you know what I'm saying? He definitely didn't have no picks and no chooses, going up against guys like us as far as in the neighborhood or whatever. He had his bouts and he had his shootouts and his standoffs and fist fights, you know what I'm saying, with some of the most, you know what I'm saying, notorious known guys that come up in our litter or whatnot from our neighborhood. So, guys, a lot of people try to, you know what I'm saying, assassinate his character. People that's not from the neighborhood or don't really know to hear guys like us say, oh, he was soft or he was this or he was that or whatnot. But that's coming from guys like us, you see what I'm saying, that call just about anybody soft because we don't have no fear when it comes to the streets or anybody else. So you can't piggyback what I say or whatnot. You can't piggyback my theory about this individual because at the end of the day, you're not me or whatever. So most of these guys that say that he was soft or say that he was weak or he was a chump or he was faking or whatnot, they would have been food for him. Like, I mean, or they probably were because you know, that Tone he was a robber, he was a jacker, he was a taker, he was just like me. You see what I'm saying? This is the understanding that we grew up with in the neighborhood. So I mean, if you had something that he wanted, he definitely was gonna take it. When his CD, his second album, I think it was called The Stick Up Kid, like he really meant that. That's what he was. I mean, that blue Cadillac that he was in on front of that album, it ended up getting blew up at his mother's house in the garage because he robbed some OG fools for a bunch of smoke or something, and they came back with vengeance and they blew the house up. I mean, they tried to blow his mom up inside the house and everything. She was able to get out of there, but I mean, that was the life that he lived.
He lived that life. I mean, the life that he rapped about, he really lived. He definitely wasn't. I mean, people say what they say, but I mean, people know that he wasn't, behind the scenes, whatever. He wasn't soft, man, by any stretch of the imagination, right?
Right. He was far from soft, man. He was far from soft, and he definitely, you know what I'm saying, he definitely lived by that street code that was given to us or whatnot. So for anybody that says anything different or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, yeah, they probably just riding the wave of somebody, you know what I'm saying, that didn't like him or somebody that was a thorough that felt that way about, you know what I'm saying, just about anybody. So they didn't really, you know what I'm saying, care to be concerned with picking and choosing if they went up against a gangster or if they went up against, you know what I'm saying, a lane.
Let me ask you this, right? Stick up kids, taking what you want. What goes through your mind before you're getting ready to catch a lick? Are you nervous? Is your heart pumping? Are you thinking about, man, I could die here? You thinking, man, I could go to prison? What's going through a stick up kid's mind at the moment when he's getting ready to make his move?
Well, that's funny because when I was younger and stuff, yeah, all that stuff, the butterflies in your stomach, and I can get killed, and I can this, and all the nervousness and stuff. You know what I'm saying? When we was younger or whatnot, I could say that. But as time progresses and you get used to doing that, then you know that your nervousness can cost the life of not only you but those around you, right? So you don't have no time to be nervous. You don't have no time, you see what I'm saying, to be anything other than firm, you know what I'm saying? And you can be cautious because you have to be cautious. You have to be aware in committing those type of robberies because no telling who's waiting in the back room for you. You see what I'm saying? No telling who's, you know what I'm saying, waiting in the closet for you. So you have to be on point, but it's no time to be nervous. And once, you know what I'm saying, you get the hang of it or whatnot, once you commit those acts and you used to committing those acts, and now it comes like it's second nature, and you have to be on point. You have to be able to strike, you know what I'm saying, quick and be, you know what I'm saying, be real you have to be real strategic when it comes to that, and you have to also, you know what I'm saying, be aware of everything, be aware of your surroundings and whatnot. You have to have an instinct, a go instinct, all gas, no brake instinct when you do that because
No.
I've seen
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
people die committing those robberies. I lost plenty of homies and stuff committing robberies and whatnot over the years.
Let me ask you this. You get a guy, you're on him, you're plotting on him, you're strategic, you run up on him. No remorse, right?
Right.
I ask you that because there's some young dudes out here that are getting money. They think they're in the street, but then they they may run into some real goons, right? And at one point in time in your life, you were a goon. So when you get in there on these guys, right? You ever have guys cry or break down or beg you not to do this or not to do that?
Yeah. That's like that's like the majority. That's like the majority of individuals. Like a dude to tell you that they this. Oh, I think it's not. They'll tell you that they tough and they this and they that or whatnot. But when it all comes down to when you got that pistol in your face, man, you know what I'm saying? Most of them dudes cry, you know what I'm saying? They cry or whatnot. They scream, they point the finger, you know what I'm saying? All of the coward comes up out of them. Not saying that I'm the biggest and the baddest, but you know what I'm saying? I've been in those situations, in those positions, and I learned to just stay cool and calm because when you get to crying and fidgeting and acting all erratic and stuff, you can make the situation go worse than what it had intended to be or whatnot.
So most of the time when you're doing a stick up, you're not going in there to kill the people. I mean, if something happens, it happens, right? And I hate to say it that way, but that's the reality of being a stick up kid. So really, most people that are doing a jack, you're coming to get the money, and really you don't want no trouble. You want to get it and get out, right?
Right. Your intentions, nobody intentions is to come when they're coming for a lick or robbery or whatnot. Nobody intentions is to come in and kill people and none of that stupid, goofy TV stuff. You're coming in there strictly to get the money, to get paid, get in and get out safely as possible. Like that TV stuff, like, you know, nobody's intending on coming in and killing nobody and harming nobody. You want it to go sweet and simple as possible, because if it goes sweet and simple as possible or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gets home to their family safe, or you know what I'm saying, everybody leaves there, you know what I'm saying, in one piece or whatnot. They just want the money, man. They want the money, they got an agenda, they thirst for the money, and you know what I'm saying? My philosophy is if you got me down bad, or if I was to get robbed and get caught down bad in those days and times, and even right now, I'm gonna give it to you. I ain't gonna put up no fight and none of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you or whatnot, because at the end of the day, you're in control. You're in control of the situation right now. You have the gun. You have the weapon. I'm not gonna try to fight for it or none of that. You can have this, because none of that stuff is worth my life. You see what I'm saying? None of that's worth my life. I can get that back, you know what I'm saying, the same way I got it back, or I can get it back, you know what I'm saying, through other means to get it back. But one thing for sure, you can get that back. You cannot get your life back.
You know, I wanted to have you on for a little short, interview or whatever. But before we get ready to go, right? I appreciate you coming on and sharing the stuff about Fat Tone and stuff. But before we get ready to go, there's dudes in Kansas City that probably look up to you, young dudes. They know who you are. You're a legend there. I mean, make no mistakes about it. That's what it is. You're a changed man, right? I believe you're a changed man. I think you turned your life around. Unfortunately, it took many years of your life. You're sitting in the penitentiary. What message would you give to them young dudes in Kansas City, man? Them dudes in Missouri, or it might be dudes in New York or in Chicago. What would your message be to these young kids that are on the path that you once were on? And now that you have a 30-year sentence, you know what it feels like. What would be your message to them?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say to them that um, I don't want my words to be seen as, oh, this old washed up dude or whatnot, or he just trying to get out of prison, so he's saying that or whatnot. He just talking jail talk. Um, I want it to be felt in what I say, the next words that I say, and I say that lifestyle, there's no future in it. There's only one way out of it, man. It's only one way out of it, and that's misery. But you have two alternatives to that misery, which is, one alternative is you're going to suffer that misery behind the walls and the cages while your family is miserable too behind your decisions that you made, or you're going to suffer it in the grave and your family's going to be left miserable and suffering behind the actions and whatnot that you partook in to have this misery come about. That life is an illusion. If you heard my other interview or whatnot, and you heard how it was, I was raised by OGs who I thought are big homies, who I thought was gangsters, who gave me the game, who showed me the rule book, who told me this is how you bang, this is how you, when you get caught up, you don't say nothing, you shoot like this, you do this. And those same older homies was the same ones that either told on me are the same ones that nutted up in the time of me committing some of the acts that they thought was horrendous or horrific. It's like, no, you shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. And then I start seeing and understanding that these dudes only corrupted me to believe a fantasy, a facade, because this wasn't what they lived. So most of the time, you see what I'm saying, these same old dudes, man, that we look up to or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, be the same old dudes that told, man, or the same old dudes that's cowards or been, you know what I'm saying, they've been taken advantage of or whatnot. They're not really like they say they are or whatever. And if y'all really just pay attention, man, you know what I'm saying, it's a war outside, and the war is not against us, man. We warring against each other, man. The war is politics and versus, you know what I'm saying, the lower class, you know what I'm saying, which we are. And these people are seeking out to profit off of our violence, off our violent acts, off our miseducation, off our misunderstanding, because that's why they put violence on TV. That's why they put Call of Duty on video games. That's why they consume us, you know what I'm saying, with the NBA young boys and all this music and stuff. They consume us with the Dirks and stuff like that, because most of us is not really mature enough or educated to know ourselves to be able to listen to this music, play these games, watch these movies or whatnot without thinking that we gotta be this way. We gotta be, this is who we gotta be. This is what we have to do or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So we go and we take this insecurity that dwells inside of us and we think that this is the way to be a man, and we start channeling it through violence, acts of violence. And then when we turn around, y'all turn around the young life, because the generation we see with the YSL thing or whatnot, indictment, y'all get caught. Now y'all want to start pointing fingers or whatnot. Y'all want to start telling, because this is not who y'all are. This is not what most of y'all was raised upon. Y'all was not born into this stuff. Y'all was sworn in it because you like the Call of Duty game, so you thought you can be a gangster because you can kill people on the Call of Duty game, or that you like NBA Youngboy, and because he talk about killing stuff, you thought that you can do it, or you like, you know what I'm saying, Arnold Schwarzenegger movies or Jason Statham movies and all these action movies where killing is going on, and you thought that you can do the same thing, but really that's not true, you know what I'm saying? And then when you get caught up, you start pointing a finger or whatnot. It's an illusion. Choose your lane. It's cool to be you. It's cool to be a square. You do not have to follow trends, because when you follow trends, one thing about it, you know what I'm saying, the trend is going to be, the trend, you're going to end up following the same trend of the person who followed the trend before, and that trend is going to be prison or death, period. There's no ways around it. There's no flip side to the coin.
You know what, man? I definitely appreciate that, and that's a hell of a message, right? I've done 600 videos, man, and that's probably one of the best messages that has been relayed to the people, man. And I hope some young dudes listen to that, man. And again, brother, listen, I definitely appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate you sharing your stories and experiences. I know you're going to have a documentary coming out. I'm probably going to narrate it for you. So I'm going to make sure I promote that on my channel too. People stay tuned. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. With respect, until tomorrow, we're out.